In 2011, Netflix was doing the unthinkable. They were splitting their successful DVD and streaming services into two companies, including the disastrously named Qwikster. The move was a PR catastrophe, costing them hundreds of thousands of customers and a massive stock drop. Yet, the leadership not only survived, they learned from it and accelerated. How did a company execute a pivot so badly, survive the fallout, and still manage to outpace every media giant on the planet? The secret lies in a culture designed not to avoid mistakes, but to maximize the speed of the pivot. The pivotal moment wasn't Qwikster. It was the creation of the freedom and responsibility culture. Netflix insisted on removing every bureaucratic friction point that slows down change. No mandatory vacation tracking, no expense approvals, and aggressive performance management. The goal was to eliminate the internal overhead required to make a decision. They were consciously trading predictability for speed. They understood that being able to pivot faster than anyone else was the ultimate competitive moat. This required a huge leap of faith, trusting every employee to act like a CEO. The ripple trace is clear. The cultural insistence on speed allowed Netflix to execute two massive existential pivots that would have paralyzed a traditional company. First, the rapid shift from their profitable DVD model to streaming, solving the physical delivery friction. Second, the expensive, high-stakes pivot from licensing content to creating original content, solving the content cost friction. Their culture is the system that enabled them to embrace mistakes, like Qwikster, as necessary data points, ensuring that the cost of inaction was always viewed as higher than the cost of a fast failure. The cultural ripple extends across Silicon Valley and beyond. Netflix proved that the best defense against disruption is self-disruption. Their system creates an operational environment where solving market friction is easy because the internal friction has been removed. The universal takeaway is that you can't pivot fast unless you trust your people completely. Your company culture is not a perk. It is a meticulously engineered system designed to either accelerate or stifle the speed of change. But what if Netflix had maintained a traditional committee-driven culture? They would have hired consultants, spent 2 years analyzing the streaming threat, and required 5 levels of approval for the necessary content acquisitions. The internal friction would have delayed the streaming pivot by 2 years. In that timeline, Blockbuster or Hulu, with its traditional studio backing, would have easily won the streaming war because the unassailable leader, Netflix, would be remembered as a successful DVD company that was simply too slow and too risk-averse to survive the digital tide. The friction insistence pivot framework is a mechanism for strategic control. If your systems are slow, your strategy is slow. If you're ready to re-engineer your approach for maximum speed and disruption, our complete strategic foresight toolkit provides the checklists and matrices you need to analyze your organization along these three crucial axes. And if you would like to trace more of these powerful currents in history and in life, please hit subscribe and join me next time on The Ripple Trace.